I know you've been
Yeah,
talking with him, but Rolf, am I correct? You're a member of Willamette Valley? Soaring?
Yes, and this stuff now. I mean, through this.
Yes,
agreement.
yeah, and reciprocal with us.
Mhm.
And that's about as much as I know, but we thank you for coming and presenting and giving us some of your soaring experience.
Well, I'm very glad to be here actually, and meet more of you guys.
Yeah.
I've already gotten one tour, and actually it was a great tour. And I made it up to, I think 17,000 or so that day, and landed late and didn't see what happened to the tow plane. So, yeah, I've been flying here a long time. I mean, I came here to the United States, Oregon, 2002 or so, in December, and then it was the first time out here, 2003. And I met Gary, whom I made friends with actually. He's a very good friend of mine, and met Tim at this early occasion actually.
Mm-hmm.
Later Kelly. So those are my friends here in Hood River. And well, I flew in the valley initially, but it is kind of limited there. The Hood River already from the sights much nicer. And then once I noticed there's a lot of wave here. Okay, it's not only the ridge, also the wave. Wave is just very occurs very often here, extremely often I would say. And so that kind of caught me, and I flew here regularly until the airport decided to have the runway remade. Then the airport was closed for 6 weeks or something like this. I decided to go somewhere else, and I didn't know where to go, so I went to Bend. And the Bend turns out to be also a wonderful place in the desert, you know, lots of thermals there, not so much wave. And I flew in Bend, and then at some point I got through with Bend, and then I explored Lakeview, which is even better than Bend actually. You know, thermals, and you have the huge ridge there. It's like a 100-mile long ridge.
Where's Lakeview? Is that in Oregon?
Yeah, it's right at Goose Lake.
Okay.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Has a huge,
Okay.
huge ridge actually. I mean, I think it's maybe 1,500 feet from the ground. I mean, from the.
To Avert Rim.
Yeah. What is it called again?
Avert Rim.
Yeah, Avert Rim.
Avert Lake.
Yeah, and you can fly just one direction, practically down to what was it, wagon wheel or something, wagon tire, right?
Wagon tire.
And then down to the California border. You can even go further, then back a couple of times. You have 600 kilometers. It's amazing. Gary flew 400 in the 232 there sometime, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but it's very far from Portland, so it's like 6 hours drive, so that's a little much. And then the last 2 summers I went to Idaho actually, into the mountains. I always thought Idaho is potato country, everything's flat, but they have mountains there too, which I wasn't aware of. And it's fantastic also, really great, you know, if you're not smoked out from California. It's beautiful. I don't have pictures of any of this. I focused here on Hood River, and you have a great photographer here, Jock, whom I haven't met, but I've copied his picture here. Yeah. And of course, you have also great soaring here. So we are at the red dot somewhere, and how does this go here? Let's see. This is Hood River, and then you can fly the ridge. You can fly the wave, and you can fly thermals, of course, also on the other side of the ridge, but this is where the real thermals are, behind the ridge, okay? And you have a huge terrain there, so very strong thermally. And I'm going to talk about this, okay? Starting with the ridge. This is one picture I took before I set up my plane. I thought it's a dismal day. I only, for social reasons, set up my Salto at the time. But I learned that no matter what it looks like, there's always a reason to fly in Hood River. You can always set up if somebody flies. And the following pictures are taken on the same day. So, you know, wind develops at around noon, as you all know. And then the clouds lift a little bit. And this is the ridge, maybe at 1 or 2 o'clock or so. And you can already see this is kind of, looks like a wave situation or a good ridge lift situation. Hard to say. And later in the day, you know, I was ridge soaring on Mount Olympus actually. Okay. So clouds had lifted considerably, you know, they were I mean, they were how high here? 1,500 feet from the ground. Okay, here they are 10,000 MSL, right? I mean, this is Mount Hood, peak of Mount Hood.
What are you flying?
Well, this is, I have two planes. So this is a motor glider plane with a retractable engine, small wingspread, 13 meters. It's my Silent. Okay, it's plane built in Italy, and it's kind of an unusual plane. But Kelly actually has the same one, except with an electrical engine. Okay, this is the old single cylinder, single blade, retractable engine, essentially. It's very, I got it nearly new, and for a motor glider you cannot buy it new enough, I always think, because of the reliability. Particularly these retractable engines won't be reliable there. And if you have something 20 years old, you know, you're always running a risk. If you have an engine in front, it's maybe more reliable inherently, but anyway. Yeah, so it was very reliable. It has never let me down, I have to say. So that is, it's not very strong, so from Idaho, I do not make it in the air, or even from California, usually it's too high ground level, and density altitude is usually in summer. It's too high for me to take off. Okay, this is a ridge soaring on Mount Hood. Also in the early days, see here, fly the other plane. My Salto has kind of all around a bubble canopy, nearly. It's been 30 years old this summer, actually. So it's a very old plane. It's aerobatic, and also 13 meters, so quite a small plane. So it's really beautiful. It must be in May maybe, or something like this, or April, that the mountain looks like this. Already some melt going on, really beautiful. And this is back in the Silent on another occasion. Here also this is ridge flying, okay. We go very close to the western side of the mountain and find a very smooth, soft ridge there. It's nearly like wave. So I guess I never dare to go that close that it gets turbulent or so. Okay, you know everything about ridge flying, I guess, right? I mean, there's no.
I'm learning from you.
Oh, well, no, I mean, this is already it. This is not, I focused on the wave, actually. I thought maybe you would be more interested in the wave, because they are
Well,
more
both.
expensive.
And the challenge I've still struggle with is the transition from ridge to wave.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
finding
what-
more sort of corridors out through the valley. I followed Tim's advice, or Tim's example. There's some magical stuff happening around Hamel Mills that I don't quite understand, but maybe you can explain it.
Yeah.
The other thing is, don't forget that we have at least 3 or 4 fairly new pilots here who are not that familiar yet, so don't be afraid to describe the basics here.
Oh, yeah,
We have
yeah.
some new pilots watching.
Well, mostly the fun and, you know, how I guess Tim and I would approach the thing usually, okay. So the wave, the concept is like this. You have a mountain, the mountain forces some air up, and the air happens to have a stable layering. That means when it is forced up, the air pulls faster adiabatically. I mean, the adiabatic lapse rate is higher than the atmospheric lapse rate. So it gets cooler faster than the surrounding air. And that means it gets heavier than the surrounding air. Okay, so once it's up here, it's heavier than anything around it. The air parcel that goes up here, that is being forced up. And so it has overweight, it wants to fall down, okay? And so it starts an oscillation like this, and this is what you get. It sometimes is extensively, like 100 kilometers downwind, you have this oscillation essentially going on, this wave going. And you typically see these very nicely, sharply shaped altocumulus lenticularis clouds, sometimes even even at higher levels, and then icy clouds. These may still be water, raindrop clouds. And further below, usually towards the ground here, you see very obvious rotor clouds, very turbulent clouds typically. And so the strategy is, when you start off downwind, okay, somehow catch a rotor or a ridge lift or so and get into this system that is completely laminar flow, very smooth, the smoothest any pilot can imagine. I mean, you move your stick a millimeter and you feel it. You know, it's just undescribable, really. Okay. Okay, so here we see how this mechanism works. We have here, this is the, which one? This is the dew point, you know, right, this is the temperature here, this altitude. Are you kind of familiar with this?
A little bit.
Dots, yeah. You can read it up here, essentially. So this is a temperature, this is the atmospheric temperature curve, and these are the lapse rates. So this would be the dry adiabatic, and this is the wet or humid adiabatic lapse rate. And so now when you have a parcel here and it is for some reason forced up, then it follows this adiabatic lapse rate, and you see it's now cooler up here than the surrounding air. And that means in this configuration we call the surrounding air, it's a stable air mass. Stable means stability, energy, wants to be established by this thing going down again. And then down here there's momentum going down that way. It's going to be too hot here, and it wants to go up again. And this goes on until the energy is dissipated, essentially. Okay, so it's a damped oscillation. It's easy to calculate this. I happen to be a physicist, so you know that in an oscillation, the frequency is equal to the force constant over the mass to 1/2 power. And you can therefore calculate, once you know the forces. The force is essentially the weight force, the weight here, weight difference between these two.
The buoyancy, essentially.
Yeah. And it turns out, when you follow this here, then you end up with such a simple formula where these are the lapse rates. So it's only the lapse rates and the temperature in them and the Earth acceleration, g. Okay. And once we have, this is the inverse of this here, so this is the frequency, this is the period, okay? 1 over the period is the frequency. This is, once you start with the physics from here, you put in this knowledge, you end up with the frequency, take the inverse, you have the period. And once you have the period, you can determine the wavelength, right? I mean, the wavelength is just the wind speed times the period, okay? And you have a basic measure of what's going on. Nobody does it this way because for some reason you have to always find the wave not with these formulas. You always have to fly into the wave and find
So
the
essentially, though, it's the sort of the difference between those slopes sort of tells you the
yeah.
magnitude of how much the difference is.
Yes, and that determines the frequency. So the bigger the difference, the bigger the forces, the bigger the frequency, the smaller the period, and the smaller the wavelength. Yeah.
So there's not an app for this.
Huh? There's
Well,
a-
actually, you can get these charts online. Actually,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
now on our website.
This is for the Hood River chart, probably. I usually, and you see the wind profile here. This is for not such a bad day. The wind is constantly increasing upwind, and this certainly is a stable air mass here above 7,000 millibars. So this is maybe 700 millibars. So this may
So
be
that's what you look
10,000
for wave is is it the combination of the stable air that will oscillate and then a steady wind that will keep it moving along? And is that the
Yes,
sort of
yes,
combination?
So, I mean, yes, stronger wind will accelerate this motion too, because, you know, you'll go up and further. So, then when you go one slide further, well, so it is a gravity wave, essentially, okay? So, like, you have, normally when we talk about waves in air, we mean sound waves. So, sound waves are kind of compressive waves. This is not a compressive wave, this is a gravity wave. You bring something out of its gravity equilibrium position, and then it goes back. So the forces are gravitational forces, just the weight forces. Okay. So this is what you here see also. These are, here you have a, what do you call this here, a hill in the wave or whatever, and this is out of balance with the gravitational line here, which is here. This is a balanced gravitational line. Once you go down, once it's down, it wants to go up again because it has a hollow, and this makes this oscillation. And so this is also gravity type of gravity-based wave. And also what we see here now, we have a point source of this here. This is a bow wave, of course, of a sailboat. But at Mount Hood in particular, we also have a point source. It's just the one cone sticking up there. Usually you have a ridge, and it's not, when the geometry is different, the wave is a little different then. Okay. But we have a point source here too. So very similar to this.
Can you back up to the SQT? Yeah, that one. So you described it very well, I think, at the wave location, but below that, to get up there, are you looking for more unstable air?
Oh,
Can
this
you
is
comment on
this
how
is
you
still
the
stable.
transition?
Yeah. This is still kind of stable.
Okay.
Okay, but in many days, in many practical days, so this seems to be a very good wave day. I don't think I've flown, but
Mhm.
anyway, we miss so many good wave days here in Britain because there's so many. But this is still stable here, I think.
But
Oh no,
you-
this is not. This is unstable. You're right.
Yeah. So
But you
compare
have thermals. You have thermals down here,
Yeah.
and then this is not quite an inversion layer, but it's stable. Okay, and then you have cumulus maybe here. You climb in the cumulus, and then if you're lucky, somehow you will manage to get into this regime.
That's
I will
what
show you later. Yeah.
I'm trying to get past the if you're lucky.
The
part.
lucky part.
I want knowledge and skill to get me there, not luck.
Well, I mean, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it.
Okay, good.
So here you see something that is realistic. The air goes up here very slowly, then falls down, okay, because of this temperature difference. And then near the ground you see this very nicely shown here, this rotor, this turbulence here, okay. In reality it looks just like this. So this is sometime in May, an early picture here with my German license registration still. So this is air coming from the west over Mount Hood here, goes just, you know, smoothly, more or less, up, falls down here, and then here it runs into the static air behind it, and really produces some turbulence. It's obvious here, right?
So that's the mixing of the stuff coming over with the
Yeah,
extended
so this
stuff.
is exactly, yeah, it's exactly this point here, down here. And of course, this is, there would be one strategy to get somehow there, okay? But of course, in a glider, you need to be higher when you start out for this region.
Plus that's a pretty rough ride, yeah.
Yeah, and it can be rough. But out here, I've also seen it often very stable in front of it. It can be laminar in front of it, can be good. But you better be prepared for this here. You need altitude to get there and back, okay? And you may encounter quite a bit of sink on the way out there. Okay. Anyway, you see very nicely here, the air going up condenses, then goes down, it's already dry, okay, has lost its humidity. And then here, something's happening that has to do with lift, okay. All right. So this is what the situation looks like upstairs, upstairs from Mount Adams, I guess. This is, right? There you see these smooth lenticularis, and these may still be wet, but up here it gets icy, okay. All right. So this is in meteorology. For example, we could take this here. You have these, what are they called here? Isobars. The high pressure area is south of us, or southwest. And so the air at high altitude is nearly parallel to the isobars here. So this covers Oregon pretty well. We see there's much more wind up here than in our area in Oregon. But nonetheless, often this is enough, okay? It's a general situation that has the same strong winds at the bottom as on the top. I mean, this is a solid meteorological situation that will last for, say, 30 hours or something like this. Okay, here we see the jet stream. The jet stream is, we are in Oregon here. Jet stream is important because we want to have the jet stream also north of us. Okay, here also you can see the curvature of the isobars here is high pressure like. Okay, so it's anti-cyclonic curvature. Okay, that means you are otherwise under the weather of the high pressure area, which means good. And you see here, there is no cloud in southern Oregon at least, and just starts beginning to have clouds where we are. Okay, so you may get reasonably clear skies and not cloud cover on such days when the jet stream is north of you and when you have this anti-cyclone curvature here. Yeah, so these are kind of indications. All right, and here we see the same thing. Yeah, there's a little bit of cloud just where we are, but essentially behind us. Yeah, and here seems to be just, so this is on one particular day. This is already February 8th. Oh, this is this year even. Yeah, I always try to document the days that I miss. Okay. Okay, so this is the same day here. Yeah, February 8th. and this is then the temperature curve that I showed before, same thing, okay? And then I have some pictures from the web. So these are pictures here which you know from Hood River, what is it? Hood River Meteor or so, there's a website. Everybody knows this one, or not?
Yeah, you can get it.
Hood River Weather. Hood River Weather is the website. And so they have these shots here into the gorge. These are kind of mixed turbulence lenticularis clouds. And these are the clouds along the ridge here that also you can see have features that look like lenticularis, okay? So this is what you have to accept already as a wave situation. And then here is another one with stronger winds. So this is from Dr. Jacks, okay, on this website, also for gliding, optimize. This is the cascades here. We see all across the cascades, strong wind. These are wind arrows here. And it's a good wave day as well. And you see here the wind increases with altitude very nicely. Yeah, and it's also stable here, up from the bottom up to here, it's already stable. Okay, and here we have the same situation. The high pressure area below, of course, for the west wind, low pressure here. And we still see here in Oregon, Oregon is still weather-wise under the high pressure influence, which is a nice, gives us a reasonably dry day, okay? And indeed, at least behind the cascades, we have open skies, essentially. And here you see this wave system extends over hundreds of miles. These are all wave clouds. Yeah, turbulent wave clouds. They are low clouds, low base clouds into the east. Okay, so this and in California everywhere. Okay, so what do these clouds really look like? I was curious. Okay, so I drove over there in October, I think, and tried to figure out what these clouds were. And so this is a situation looking from, I guess I'm in the air there, yeah. This is west, wind coming from the west, falling down here, the whatever it is, around Mount Jefferson, further, or maybe it's around Mount Hood. This may be Wood here, this may be already Jefferson. And then we see the nice open skies on the downwind side. And this is what it looks like. This is more, it's not really wave clouds that we really see. These are more like rolling rotor clouds, rotor chains. This is a situation that I got from the web from Mitchell. So Mitchell is Central Oregon. Okay, so here's another situation that of course is not flyable in February. Often it is so dry, so wet that it's Mount Ellis, what is it, Mount Hood or Mount Ellis? That you know, we cannot fly here, although you see this is a kind of a wave cloud that looks attractive, but nobody can fly there. And here similarly, everything looks a little bit wild. So in February. So this is a situation in May. It's still often in the springtime quite wet. And we see here Mount Hood is all fogged up. The lenticularis look kind of different from close up. But this is all wave situation. I'm flying here, so this is definitely a wave situation. And this is in summer. Often you have the hood on Mount Hood here, and this is usually a wave cloud on Mount Hood, right? This is the first cloud, and then sometimes you have something here, but maybe on this side, but the air is often already too dry to produce clouds here, okay? So this is then the only indication that you have airborne wave. And this is also wave cloud observed from my room window, from my living room window on this apartment building here, and here it's close up. You know, so it's smooth up here. This is the important thing about the wave. Okay, it's smooth here. And then this is a snapshot taken in Florida, which I got from the web actually, a similar thing. As long as it is smooth, okay, you would expect a lot of turbulence, but here you can see from the clouds above here, this is going to be smooth. Okay, and that's wavy. That's what we clarify. Wavy. Now I want to bring a little bit what you need. You need oxygen, right? I mean, when you really want to use a wave cloud, you get high here. You need oxygen, and you may want to think about an EDS, electronic, I guess, dispensement system that only delivers as much oxygen as you breathe in. Okay, it's not constant flow. It's a cheaper version. This one here has a sensor somewhere, and the sensor senses your the suction in the nose, so when you breathe in, there's a little bit of under pressure, and then it dispenses a push of oxygen, only what's needed depending on altitude, okay? That lasts for 2 days, I mean for 16 hours or so. While the other thing, you really have to watch out, you need a pressure meter, how much pressure you have left in the tank when you want to fly 8 hours or so. You want to be safe, you have oxygen in it, right? So it often is cold when you get high, and if there are clouds, it gets cold. If there's blue sky, then the body is warm, but the feet are cold. Your feet certainly get cold, except if you have a real nice close airplane. But few people have actually. So your feet will get cold, even when the sun is out. If you're high, okay? So you need a map with our wave window. You need to inform yourself over the policy with the wave window. The wave window is only for the Willamette Valley Soaring Club and pilots that have an agreement with the Willamette Valley Soaring Club. So if you want to get into the wave window, officially speaking, you would have to have some authorization from the Willamette Valley Soaring Club. And
Really,
not
not any pilot can call the air traffic control and ask
well,
for one?
Officially, I'm giving you the official version, okay?
Okay.
Of course, I guess you can call them and follow the procedure that the Willamette Valley Soaring Club has established,
Okay.
and which I have written for you. I can send it to you later,
Yeah.
and then try that way. But probably it's nice if you see the agreement between ATC and the Willamette Valley Soaring Club to follow that rule.
Mhm.
So,
So
yeah.
this is a geographic region that is
Yeah,
reserved for
I
wave
show
flying?
you. I show you in a minute. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So a map. You need to know how far the wave window extends. Then you need to have telephone numbers with Seattle Center. You need a ground connection. This is all in the policy. It's written down in the document that I can show you. You cannot be often fogs up. You better have a soft rag, and when it fogs up, you open the window and prevent the frosting. Okay. Once it's already frosting, even a soft rag produces still a mess. Okay, but it at least doesn't produce stripes and scratches and more dirt. Okay. So of course, for me, it's always important to have a weak link, since you guys have Schweizer planes. Okay, so I want to be ready. Okay, so for me, I need a weak link. You bring a camera because it's beautiful up there. Take a few shots. You get food, water, and when you fly long, a disposal bag essentially, right? I mean, that's another thing. So what we should be understanding, so we have to learn this. Otherwise, we run the possibility that we have friction with ATC. This is something we would like to avoid, I guess. There is a lot of traffic flying right over Mount Hood in the western windy
You hear
situation.
the Hood approach, right?
Yes.
They're not at, I mean, they're kind of at
PDX
that-
approach, yeah.
PDX approach,
Yes.
yeah. They're at 10 or 12,000 feet.
Yes.
Right over
Right.
the park down there.
Yes.
Right where
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen them fly under me, pass through, as if the wave window wasn't there, but I had it opened, and I do not know what these ATC guys do. Probably it is a good idea to also think about transponders, ADSB.
So that's the next question. Yeah, is a transponder required if you're in a
No,
operating in a
this
wave
is why we
window?
have the, no, you don't need a transponder or anything.
They're probably still. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Right?
If something
If you're going
happens,
to be above the.
we have a big trouble.
jetliners.
Yes, yes. So,
Okay.
okay, so then you should kind of know what happens to a tow rope break with strong wind, you know, that you don't try to go around at low altitude or whatever. You have to be mentally prepared. You should know the ridge fairly well, okay, how to work the lift, how to avoid turbulence, not go over the ridge into the lee side, to have these air traffic avoidance rules, and that you circle at least initially away from the ridge. Always take circles. If you catch a thermal on the ridge with strong wind, would never circle into the ridge. Okay, and if you are below the ridge line, normally people fly 8s, you know. But you are all kind of good pilots, I guess. So I don't have to explain this here. This is not what the talk is about. I just want to have it mentioned once. Okay. And
This is
so,
all good. You're not talking down to any of us, I don't think.
Yeah.
more
We
detail
have
than-
a range of experience,
Okay, yeah, okay.
right?
So, regular landing in Old River in strong wind, is there turbulence? There is usually some turbulence at around Lyle's house, so be prepared for that, still have some speed there.
Oh, yeah.
High approach, fast enough. Concept of how to clear the runway. If you're by yourself in the evening or so, and it's windy, how do you get the airplane moved? Okay, you have to get out already, it may fly away. So, think about it. I am not going to take responsibility to give you advice, but you have to think about it, right? Do you want to roll off the runway maybe immediately, but then if you run into a runway light, it's another problem. The frequency here is 122.8, if I remember it right. And once you're up in the wave, it takes you time to come down. You need to know when sunset is, okay? It's nice up there, it's bright up there, while Wood River is already in the dark, okay? And if you have to do an outlanding with strong wind, into the wind, or if it's very slopey, you have to land upslope usually, except if the wind is very, very strong. And keep radio contact so you don't run into emergencies unprepared, okay? So anyway, this is only the very basics. I only want to get you stirred to think about these things. Now that winter time is coming, keep it in mind here. This is our wave window, okay, so this is north. These are the coordinates. So it's mostly to the south, okay, and it is quite an extent. Okay, these are the two lakes there. I do not know their names, but they are very apparent. You can see them once you're up there. Okay.
Frog Lake, I think is one of them.
And Timothy, or Clear Lake, it's Clear Lake, Timothy Lake.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So and if you have to do outlandings in this area here, well, many of you are power pilots. You know these airports probably. They are private airports. To land a glider in there is very difficult. I tell you that. They look very small to me. So you better avoid landing out there. Okay. So you have to be careful there. So if you want to travel from here to Jefferson, this is ideal. I never knew that it extends so far south, but this is halfway to Jefferson already, it looks like to me. While if you want to fly here north to Adams, then you have to be at this edge here already down to 18,000 again, right? I mean, this wave window is above 18,000, right? Open zero, above 18,000. Okay, so more practical. Where is the wave in Hood River? Well, it's kind of everywhere. I found this is a very reliable area here. I think Tim informed me about this. Told me fly to the junkyard, or he flew to the junkyard, and then I followed him, and I noticed, wow. And in the many flights after that, this is very reliable here. Okay, just across the river, you have to be how high, about 3,000 feet or something like this, to get in and be safe to come back. Okay, so calculate 3,000 feet. You have to leave 4,000 even maybe, something like this.
It's not in the 233.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So
You're talking 40 to 1 glider, right?
no, mine are 33 is the Salto, and maybe 36 or so is the
Okay.
Silent. So on the ridge, yeah, you can find the wave, but it's rare. Behind Middle Mountain, excited from here, you can often find the wave. Upwind on Baldy, I hardly ever found a wave. On Baldy, which is here at the Parkway Valley, right? But you always usually you approach. The standard way would be to go on this ridge, try to get to Baldy. Baldy you don't catch a wave. Then you fly here into the valley and upwind from Baldy, and sometimes you catch something. You look around there, and when you get low, you fly back to Baldy. Baldy is kind of absolutely foolproof. If there's any wind, there is with that Baldy. Right? Then there is a reservoir up here, that must be somewhere here, and there is often a wave. This is very often, it's kind of reliable. I would say these two spots are the most reliable ones, and then immediately in the downwind area from Mount Hood. Okay, so what is the strategy? Okay, how do I get in the way from the ridge? You do your ridge flying, then this is all still unstable air most often, okay? and you catch the thermal. The thermal may be rough. You take the thermal, maybe a little bit behind the ridge line. Otherwise, I would not recommend to go far downwind from the ridge. Okay, and then you see the cloud as some extension into the wind. You fly under the cloud, try to get here. And most often this will all be lift here, surprisingly. Lift, 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 and even out here is lift. And then you go in front of the cloud and try to go up in front of the cloud. Apparently there is an inversion layer, or the stable air begins right here, very, very often. And then while this is still regular lift, up here you start feeling air is getting smooth in your thermal, and then you are already entering a wave that is apparently excited by the upwind drift here under the cloud. Okay, it has nothing to do with the ridge. I think it's right in front of the cloud. Okay, and you can nearly, very close to the cloud, can go up here and higher. Eventually you are above the cloud. Then you look for the next higher reaching cloud and try to reach that one and go forward this way. Okay. Okay. Don't go in this lift here too far downwind behind the ridge. Okay, behind the ridge it goes down. So here you see the situation. These are maybe the cumulus. You see the cumulus clouds. This here is, I'm already in front, a little bit up in this type of position, and here the same, already above cloud edge. This is cumulus cloud. I caught the thermal here, went into the wind direction, and then even if the lift is weak, you continue and you go over the clouds. It's most surprising how often this works, that you find lift in front of the clouds, okay, which eventually turns smooth and becomes wave lift.
This is a really nice graphic because I've only experienced stepping stone. Maybe I should have worked that first cloud harder. It's leading edge.
Yeah, you just have to take your time there, explore it all. But this is a way. Even, sometimes in a flat landscape, you get lift in front of the clouds. I've been in Berlin, which is in completely flat lands, been above the clouds, 2 times higher than the cloud
But
in the summer.
so that's the question: is was I a sucker to fall for those dark clouds that were further upwind and going?
You always try to do this. I mean, going into the wind is always safe because you can always come back.
Yeah.
And then follow the clouds is a general approach.
Well, yeah.
in thermals.
But then they got kind of solid overcast. If you go too far upwind, turn
Yeah.
into that.
Well, yeah, that happens.
Right. Maybe I should. In hindsight, I think I should have worked the leading edge of that first cloud.
Yeah. Try to do this. Just catch a thermal on the ridge. Don't go too far downwind.
Yeah.
But once you're at cloud base or close to cloud base, you go forward, and then this is a critical area here. Either you have lift or you don't have. Okay. But if you have a little bit of lift, then you have to be patient. Use it, slowly get higher, and then eventually it will get smooth. You have a good chance to get much higher than the cloud already. Okay. So this is the way it goes. And here you see, oops, okay, here I'm still under the cloud, see? And the cloud looks kind of down this way, it's a cumulus cloud. This is the Columbia River here for some reason. And anyway, then here I'm above the cloud. This is the cloud edge. And see, this doesn't look like single cumulus clouds anymore. This already looks like a first wave cloud or rotor cloud or whatever. This is already coherent along the ridge, okay? Yeah. And you see this nice little backscattering thing there. That's kind of interesting. The physics of it, since I'm a physicist, fascinated by it.
It's your glory.
Yeah, it's called glory. Yeah. Okay, but okay. And so here I'm a little bit higher, and from above here, these clouds certainly already look like wave clouds. Okay, this is also here. This is Columbia. This must be the Hood River. The 2 forks, and the airport must be some ice right there, right? Okay, so we also see a wave cloud that's a little bit off the track, but it's weather, hard to categorize. And but here definitely I'm already in the wave system. Okay, so a strategy. So this would be right on the ridge. Okay, so once you have made your way to Baldy already in this valley, then you can take Baldy as a center point of your exploration and go from Baldy wherever it looks good. Okay. You can go directly to Mount Hood, or you can go other directions. So there is an example here. From here I go to the ridge, go to 4,000 or 4,500 or so, then transition to Baldy here. I mean, Gary always went this way, I always go this way for some reason. Baldy is here, it's very reliable, but you don't want to ride too low. Okay, I've been there at 2,200, and this is kind of bad, you sweat, okay? So,
Can I ask,
Yeah.
when you guys talk about going down and getting around the corner, is that first corner there, do you know, is that
That's it.
Baldy? Okay.
yeah, here it flattens out a little bit, there's hanging, and but Baldy is here, okay? So
Yeah.
once you're here, you don't have real lift yet. Hopefully it can't come up, but
So
once
that's
you're
the
at the power
challenge,
lines,
is to kind of get around that and get down to it.
yeah.
Okay.
So you usually lose altitude here.
Okay.
So Gary usually flies here and then traverses over the ridge directly. I don't know what Tim does. How you do it?
Well, a lot of times I'll go toward Hamel, and surprisingly, there'll be lots of zero sync going out from Hamel.
Yeah, that's the leading size here of the center of the middle mountain, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then I come in sometimes lower than Baldy, and then get out in front of Baldy, and a lot of times going up right in front of Baldy.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have enough altitude to reach the lift, which is sometimes on this side of Baldy, on the southern side of Baldy. So you have to be nearly at the power lines, and it can happen that the lift is only strong there. So you need to have enough reserve to get there. And sometimes you have sink here, you don't have get it right. So I think 4,500, this is about a good starting altitude, okay? And then, if not, you return, okay? Always return to the safe position, which is here, okay? And even if you get here very low, you are at the ridge, and most likely, if you got that far, it will help you out on the ridge again, okay? So once you're in Baldy, you are safe. Now you can go anywhere. You can cross the valley in this direction, you can go in that direction, and often I find lift here, for example, okay? So you can also go, yeah,
Lava flow.
over the lava fields.
Well, for those two circles, mid-valley, you're under cumulus there.
Yeah, maybe there's a cumulus here, or looks something, or you have a spurious lift on your variometer, you decide not to go, and then if you still have altitude, you go further into the wind, until hopefully eventually you find something. So when you do this first time, probably the first 5 times, you are unlucky here, okay? So then you always return, go back to Baldy, and then try over again, you know, you spend an hour this way. Okay, so never, I mean, risk anything, you know, just, you don't want to land on Highway 35, you don't want to land in these areas here, or this is probably a good bet, there's a little farmhouse there with 2 big fields. And you don't want to land in Cooper Spur, okay, down here. One of the Willamette Valley Soaring Club landed here, okay, ruined his plane, but he survived. And Gary landed a few times on Highway 35, I don't know, 2 or 3 times probably.
No, I was, but it was once and got him off twice, so that's 3.
Yeah, 3 times. But always nothing ever happened to Gary here, but this plane was wrecked, okay. So avoid this altogether. Stay high and go back to the safe spots, and make sure you understand Baldy, have experience with Baldy, that you can consider this a safe spot here. Okay. One way also to get into Mount Hood area is, so this is looking south, you see there is this is all wavy here, all right? So you, from Baldy, essentially here, you can move towards the bow wave of Mount Hood, and if you're lucky, on the way already, you get some small lift, not much, like maybe 200 feet or 100 feet per minute here, but you can progress further, and eventually you are in this wave system here, on the shoulder of Mount Hood. This is all very low still, right? So you are in the bow waves here. This is a ship that produces also some air waves actually, so this is an obstacle moving through wet air and producing this.
Hang on, but you're saying you're very low relative to where you're going? I mean, that you've got to be up at 7,000 or 8,000 feet at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
You always fly such that you can at least make it back to Baldy.
Yeah.
Well, if you can make it back to Baldy and expect ridge lift, I don't know how high this is, maybe 3,000 feet still at Baldy. Essentially, then you can also make it home. but Baldy is the safest bet. Okay, so this is it here. So you come here from Baldy, and then you see this cloud end here, and there may be lift here. Maybe it's ridge lift, you cannot say, and maybe not. And then you follow the features, and you end up here on the western face, and there's often in this type of situation smooth lift here. Okay. Overall, it's a wave day. I'm here in the downwind side of Mount Hood.
That yellow arrow is where Russ was climbing on 172. With
Yeah,
the valley.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm between Timberline Lodge and Sandy Canyon.
Yeah.
Hey, just
Yeah.
You can go from this here. You reach about the height of the peak here, maybe a little higher, maybe 11,000 or so. You can often get here in ridge lift. And then you know there's most likely a wave down here, but you don't want to really fly over the mountain, so you fly around here and then enter early enough here, circle, and then wind will lead you back into the wave, hopefully. Right?
How are we deconflicting with the hood approach? At the end of the red and the beginning of the yellow?
Oh, they are not flying that. This is low. This is like 7,000. Yeah, there's nobody.
Okay.
No, they're all higher than Mount Hood. Well, sometimes they fly just about.
It seems like they're in the 10,000 foot.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
descending into PDX.
Every
Yeah.
flight coming in from, when I come in from the East Coast, looks like you'll get rid of the summit. You're right there.
Yeah.
Now, legally, you are right, and you have the right of way. But of course, if something happens, even if you are the
Tell that to
winner,
the widow,
legally,
right?
yeah, I mean, everybody will suffer.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's something you have to find a basic decision about yourself. You want to use or not. Yeah.
And if you're gonna land on 35, the 233, the high wing, is a lot better because it gets real expensive leading edge on the 232. He beat the Jesus at the leading edges.
Oh, he's what?
He beat the leading edges of his wings.
Yeah.
He's going, what's that noise? I said, you're hitting the snow markers.
Oh, on Highway 35.
Yeah, when we landed on Highway 35.
Well, I mean, Gary has been lucky there. If there's traffic, you may not, the drivers may not pick up the situation, and then something bad happens. There's no need to, stay high. If you feel you're not high enough, then you go back. If you cannot, if you do not make it back to Baldy or so, go to the ridge or go to the airport or whatever. There's always a ridge. I mean, that is, you normally don't have to land. You make a mistake if you have to land, right? As long as the ridge is there, that carries you, keeps you in the air. Okay, so the other more classical approach, I guess, is go further down here into the Parkdale Valley and then go from here somewhere into Mount Hood, okay? And that is this approach here. You see it already. There is turbulence everywhere. This is a downwind side from Mount Hood here. This is turbulent air going over the mountain, and then there's lots of turbulent air here. So it looks like this here. This is where you are flying, okay? This is going to be rough here, okay? You need to have courage. You need to have some experience. So this side, this straight approach through the downwind side of Mount Hood, you have to be prepared for it, okay? You better tighten your seatbelts also, This is something, okay? But sometimes it is also clearer than this here, and sometimes it's not quite as rough, okay? And you end up going up easily, okay? But here is the same situation. So these are all some type of rotor clouds or maybe cumulus clouds with normal thermals under them. Who knows what it is? But they promise lift, okay? They are there because air rises, gets cool and condenses, okay? Obviously, there must be some lift somewhere, but it is going to be rough, okay? It can even be strong lift, but it is also rough there. And you have to work your way through this, and you gain a lot of experience. Eventually, you may end up in this position here. You see the turbulence below. You are here in very smooth air and can enjoy the wave. Okay, it's really nice. And here, this is a picture where I nose down, take the whole mountain also. And so, where should it be? There's another situation. The lift, when you approach from right downwind from Hood, should somewhere be in this area here, okay? Okay, so you have to find out, you have to search for it. If you find clouds, sometimes there are little clouds, and then you fly up to the clouds. If it doesn't work out, you return back to the ridge up there in Park Valley, and then try again another time, gain some altitude, try again. So here is Kerry Richard from Willamette Valley Soaring Club climbing in that area that is in this circle here, somewhere around here. Either the same day or it looks like more humid day. Okay, this is the peak of the mountain. This is him circling steeply, probably in turbulent air to get into the wave. Okay, there is it. Okay, I've already found my wave, and here you see this is probably some type of cloud, turbulent air cloud, but I'm way above this already. I'm in smooth air. I can easily take a picture of the poor fellow, right? And he's still struggling in a way. However, it can be sunny sometimes, but you know, it can also fog up again, you know, and then you have to do your calculation. If you calculate, say, 1,000 feet per minute sink with your spoilers out, okay, and it takes you 10 minutes to lose 10,000 feet, okay, in half an hour to get to the ground from 30,000 feet, okay. A lot can happen. It can, you know, can completely close up under you in half an hour, okay. So you always make sure you see a hole that is not shrinking too fast, really, right. This is very important here in Hood River, where there is so much humidity coming in from the Pacific. So this is one of my flights, some 2003 already, so I've just been here a year, essentially. Or maybe it's some other time, 2009 maybe, I cannot read from here. Doesn't matter, so you can get up pretty fast here, okay, so this went to 26,000 feet. So it's just 2 hours, and then I noticed it's getting humid. I went down fast, so in my Salto, it's an aerobatic plane, you can go down fast, okay, and then that plane.
Backing up to the previous slide, obviously you want to maintain a hull to get home.
Yes.
If you're monitoring Hood River Valley and the hull, let's say it closes up, your plan B is, usually there's a cloud break and there's more holes to the east.
Yes.
So you've got altitude, you can make the Dalles.
Yes.
Is that your plan B? Is that your out? Or
Yeah, this is the outbreak.
You go to the Dalles.
I didn't mention, yeah, it's very important. Usually you see here it's much less cloudy, and often it's completely clear, while this is completely clogged up. And then with this altitude here, I mean being high, right,
Yeah.
you can go to the depths, okay?
Because I've been in that position and looked east to the Dalles and said,
Right.
I guess that's my plan B, but I want to hear from more
No.
experienced guy.
I have never landed there, but this is, Gary has landed there, and this is a standard.
Yeah,
Don't-
trailering from the Dalles is far better than going through clouds.
Yeah, maybe you can
Yeah.
even be towed, your tow
Yeah.
plane can pick you up from the Dells, no problem.
Right.
And, or if the weather is too bad, then your trailer or wait a day or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't try to land in any of these hot spots there, these private airstrips. That, first of all, you will have difficulty finding them
Right.
in this distress
But
situation.
from those vantage points where you were up at whatever 15,000 feet, you can make the Dalles easy.
Oh, yeah,
There's
no
a-
problem,
yeah.
yes.
That would be your sensible plan
Yes,
B.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned it. I forgot to do it.
At 26,000, can you make it back to the Willamette Valley?
Well, against the wind. This would be against the wind. So I wouldn't try. You do not know how strong the wind really is, okay? Then the area there, you fly south of Portland, you know, the Lake Oswego area, etc., etc. So wood everywhere. You cannot really land in good spots. And then you have the Portland metropolitan area also unlandable. And by the time you are in North Plains, no, it's way too far. I would never go that far. Go to the Dells. I mean, Dells is usually always dry, you know. You see it, well, here you don't see it, it's okay. So this is also my old, this was actually this year. I have this new Audi or Audi, whatever it's called, GPS. So this is the one tour I got from you guys. I go up here, Mount Hood is there, and I noticed, I look on my Audi, and what I find is the following. I never really saw this. Ground speed minus 19. Really stronger than my overhead speed, you know, something to think about.
I have not seen it negative. That's good.
Yeah. So it doesn't really matter. You can fly faster. Okay, particularly if you have if you have lift. Yeah, I have lift. Okay, so no problem.
Stick it in reverse, Charlie.
Yeah. Okay. And so once you're up there, as I said, what do you do? Okay, so I have an aerobatics plane, I have aerobatics license, I could do aerobatics. Okay, I'm not sure you can do aerobatics in space A, right, at above 18,000. I do not know the legal side of it. Probably in below you could do it, but nonetheless, I recommend that you check your airspace. If you have an aerobatic plane, if you have a parachute, if you have your license, maybe you need a flight plan, and also, so I essentially do not recommend doing this here.
Yeah.
Stay legal, okay? Why risk anything, okay? Stay legal. If all this is satisfied, then maybe you want to do it. Then comes a practical question. Is your cockpit really clear? I mean, usually you have maybe gloves lying around, okay? Your oxygen tank, mine weighs 5 kilograms. Right? If it's not strapped down correctly, and you fly through turbulence, once you do aerobatics or you are inverted too long, it may come through the canopy, you know? So usually you shouldn't do it. So this picture here is taken 1995, okay? So this is more than 20 years ago. I was still young. I did it in somewhere in Europe, in southern Europe. It was allowed, but I later wondered, oh, my oxygen tank, did I take this into consideration? I hadn't. It didn't come loose, okay? So I recommend not to do aerobatics, okay? Very clear here. Okay, so what can you do? Take a movie for the family. So this is my movie here. How beautiful it is up there. Okay, so this motorhood, the hood on motorhood, and then I'm just circling, going, this is the direction of the valley, now going east. And then there is this funny cloud here, coming up. You will see this here. Okay, it looks a little funky. It changes shape quite fast from circle to circle. So this is looking south, Mount Jefferson is appearing there. Going around again, Mount Hood cloud also increased here. These things weren't there initially in the last turn.
Maybe about 12,005 there.
No, Mount Hood is probably 15 or so.
15.
No, I don't know, but I would guess 15. So now comes the funny cloud again. See, it has changed quite a bit. It looks really funny here with all this, right? Triangular, the way it's structured. Very sharp edges though. Obviously, lenticularis type. Mount Jefferson. Turn around again, go one more time. So here this is also sharpened up in a way. I do not know if this is here, over this cloud, or if it's further out. So it's beautiful up there, you know. Of course, it takes you hours to get there, and by that time you are bored usually. One has to say. I mean, so you hear the variometer. Now this funny cloud has much enlarged. This is just 2 circles down, right? 2 fast circles. Mount Jefferson again, and I think this one is it. Okay, so you either do aerobatics, which I do not recommend. I don't think it's legal to do aerobatics in class A. I tried to look it up today. But it's explicitly not allowed, only in B, C, and E. If E is
Bravo? No.
Yeah, it's not allowed. Not allowed.
It's not allowed in B. A and B.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, in A it doesn't say. A is not mentioned. So, but you are under the command of the ATC, of course. You would have to ask them, or whatever you do, whatever you plan.
Maneuvering.
Yeah. Anyway, so you check it out. I don't do it. I haven't flown a loop anyway in, I would say, 4 or 5 years. I'm kind of out of aerobatics. For some reason, I don't feel that drive anymore. So the other recommendation is you start traveling, right? You go north. So here's Gary, alone in his 232, and we are on our way north to Mount Adams. Okay, and you see that looks interesting. You can probably make it up there. We didn't, however. Okay, so sometimes it's all clear. This Mount Adams has wave clouds, etc., and it looks very promising. and but it's difficult to reach Mount Adams, I have to say. But you can land anywhere, so it's safe. Once you are too far down, you make your way home. Sometimes it's wet, okay? So this is Mount Adams veiled in a wet cloud, okay? So no way you can safely fly there on top with a glider. You should do this, right? So stay away from it. And okay, but it can be reached. But to be honest, mostly you arrive too low to ever get into the wave system in Mount Adams. Okay, so it's kind of difficult. You can go south, of course. So this is here 2011. I started here, went up more to it somewhere, and then went back somewhere, I don't know. I eventually went to Jefferson and close to Mount Adams. So I did this a few times. It's an 8-hour flight. 8 hours, what is it? 8 hours, 2 minutes. But it's 600 kilometers. 600 kilometers in 8 hours. It's not so bad without an engine, right? So it's 400 miles, okay? No, not quite. Maybe 380 miles or something like this. Not so bad. So it is cold, but not always. Do you see? This is all. Whenever I'm traveling, I didn't even climb over 5,400 meters, 18,000 feet. Didn't even climb here out higher than 18,000 to just go on traveling immediately, I think, to Mount Jefferson, essentially. Then on the way back, no problem. I go north, and I see here I'm low, but I can recover myself. Then I get low again here at Bob's maybe, and then there's only one way back in this situation. Try to reach the ridge here in Hood River. Okay, even on the other side of the river, I'm not familiar with the ridge. I'm not going to risk ending up there. I fly over the river with all this sink usually onto this ridge. I get there very low, but I know I get there because I can see it the way I fly. I reach the ridge and then everything is safe again. I start the second round. Okay, you have to, of course, get all the way back into the wave system. Eventually I do, and then I land at sunset.
How is Bob's identified? I've never heard of Bob's.
It's
So
on the
you're
chart.
gonna look at probably-
Private airfield, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a strip there.
Yeah. It's all green. It's not easy to
Is
fly.
that where stuff was going bad for you here? You were losing
No.
all your altitude?
No, it's difficult to stay in the wave if you don't
Yeah.
have enough clouds to guide you.
I've heard
this
Kelly
area.
telling stories.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, getting really shot down.
Yeah. We all of us, I guess, haven't really figured out where the wave is from here to there. So the problem here, we have beautiful mountains. They all have strong waves, but they are all point sources. The next one is down in Bend. Who wants to fly to Bend and without being sure he can make it back? So if you have a continuous ridge at this level, would be much better. But
Oh, that's why it's easier to go to Jefferson.
yeah, and this is what they do in the Sierras. Okay, they fly along a continuous ridge,
Yeah.
or in Argentina.
Yeah.
This is not, unfortunately, not here. Here it's volcano hopping. Okay. All right, so you wonder which flight path should you take. Okay, so I figured out all this red stuff is little mountains, and I figured out from a cloud map here where the possible flight path for me would be to get to Bend and back. Because here you have the Paulina Lake mountains there. You want to stay in front of them and be in the Sun River Valley, essentially south of Bend. And so you can see this. There's a gap in the clouds, right where the air goes down for the first time and then goes up again. And the green line here lies in that gap, essentially. So this is the way I would fly, but every day is of course different, and therefore, you have to play it by eye or ear anyway. So this is just some playing. This is Bend here, okay. Since I know Bend so well now, and from Jefferson to Bend, a very short distance actually, I would like to do this at some point, and then just land in Bend in case it doesn't work out. So this is now thermal flights from Wood River. I mean, there you have, this is also nice. This is, of course, the Three Sisters or something like this down there in Bend. This is the type of situation you want to have. Where are we actually? We are somewhere here, right here. This is the Mount Hood area. And this is on Dr. Jack. And so this red color here means, doesn't say, you have probably an expectation of 500 to 600 feet per minute lift. And this is 6 to 700, okay? And so you want to look for lift strength. Of course, this is always a magic number. Then, however, cloud cover, if you fly thermally, you want to have clouds. You don't want to have too strong a wind, okay? You want to know cloud base and overdevelopment potential. All that you get from here. It's all here. Cumulus potential, cumulus cloud base, overdevelopment potential. It's all on Dr. Jack. And Dr. Jack is for free, and better programs that are more sophisticated that give you maybe more reliable or not predictions. So if you want to get into thermal cross-country flying, you need to get a quantitative forecast, okay?
Back to wave, is there such a thing as too much wind?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't want it dangerous, particularly on the ground. I often come down and then I'm very surprised how rough in the evening the valleys get, okay?
Yeah.
Apparently a lot of turbulence is accumulating.
So just
and
for
still
safety,
rotating in the
there's such
valley.
a thing as too much wind, but from
Yeah.
finding lift standpoint, more wind is better.
No,
No?
not really. I mean, I wouldn't recommend more than 13, forecast 25 knots, essentially.
At what altitude? 25 on the surface? Or,
Yeah, on the surface, you know it's already bad, 25 knots. Yeah. I mean, it needs to be on the runway.
well, take tomorrow's forecast, for example, is like 8 knots peak at surface, and then it goes up to 15 at the ridge height, and
Yeah, well,
25 at
yeah.
10,000 feet.
There can be waves, but a little more than that is probably better, right?
Okay.
But there's no need
But
to
we're not
overdo
doing-
it.
yeah.
You don't have to wait for 50 knot wind, okay?
Yeah.
So a strong wind is good enough usually. Okay, fine. But it needs to be stable, okay?
Kelly's also mentioned alignment. Does it matter if the surface wind is aligned with the
Yeah, it should be
wind
aligned.
loft?
Should be aligned. Not too much of a shear.
Okay.
And you have to make sure here that what I showed, that you have wind at Mount Hood. This is where you want to end up. Often you only have wind in the gorge, okay? There's a difference between gorge winds and wind on Mount Hood.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah. Okay, so thermal flights. This is, you have a large area here, and you see, you can fly all of this area. The only limitation is really to performance is essentially cloud, or cloud-based. There are so many wild areas in Oregon that you want to have a high cloud base to fly there thermally. Okay, you don't want to always be landing out all the time, landing on outlanding. So this is the weather situation. Here we have the high pressure area now moved up a little bit, and it's just gaining access to our area here, and there was just a low pressure area passing through. And so low pressure area in the summer means it's cloudy, it's cold, it's wet. So the ground is cold, but the air is still unstable. It stabilizes under high pressure influence. Okay, so it's still unstable here. There is enough wetness for clouds to develop once this high pressure area gains in strength. Okay, so these are good days. It's a transition day. The only problem, and usually lift develops very early, so early takeoffs are possible. But the only problem is, in this situation, you usually have low cloud bases. Okay, and this is particularly bad for you guys or for us here, because you have to go over the ridge to get into the desert area. Okay, so here you see the cloud development in the course of the day. This is kind of the cumulus development. There are pretty big cumulus clouds here. These are fairly large. They are aligned in the Cascades here and then in the other hills. But here, close to the Cascades, right downwind, they are suppressed already in this valley here. Okay, and this is the cloud cover forecast. It doesn't quite match to this one, but it generally says between say 10 and 20, 30% cloud coverage, which is the case here. Okay. And the wind is shifting here. This is typical for this situation, but it doesn't really bother you much, right? What you would like to have is when you venture out from here into here, you would like to come home with the wind. That always makes things easier. But this isn't the case here. You will have northerly winds on this particular day. Okay? And this is the cloud height, okay? the cloud base. So here, this color here is like 10,500, and this is the dark brown, it's already 12,000. That's not enough for flying easily, you know. With an engine, you fly more easy. You have a much nicer time. If you fly without an engine, on the other side of the ridge in this area, with the cloud base at 12,000, you are never really high. You never really feel safe. Okay, so it's not good enough. And what's even worse is in the morning, it will start out probably with 7,000 or 8,000. And if you want to go early over the ridge, this cloud base of 8,000, that's practically dangerous without an engine. Okay, even with an engine, it's bad. I mean, I always told myself only to ridge height, okay, and then I thermal, and then from the thermal I go across the ridge, and but I know I have an engine that I can start, you know, in 7,000, go over the ridge into this no man's land there, you know, across the ridge. If you don't catch the next thermal, you are down essentially, right? I mean, this is a roulette type situation. Okay, so what do I want to say here? So the Willamette Valley in the course of the day opens up completely. It's essentially blue. The Hood River Valley is very weak, but there are cumulus clouds around Mount Hood in the morning, and then later on you see them everywhere along the ridge first, and then also in the plains, in the high desert plains. This is the situation. Here everything is blue for some reason, stabilized, nothing much happening. Hood River Valley up here, also blue, also weak, but on the other side is paradise. Okay, you only have to go on the other side. But with a low cloud base, this is harikiri. You know, you don't want to do this. So nonetheless, the basic idea is cross a ridge, dive into the Great Basin and follow the clouds. Okay, so this is what I did here from here. I went up here, sneaked up, and then went over the ridge at some point. Maybe 8,000 feet or so, and then went from one cloud to the next cloud to the next cloud, never really getting lower until I was over safer grounds, and then also time progresses, cloud development set in, clouds go higher, and then I continued further down to somewhere here, some river or so, maybe a little further, this is Bend, and then go back, and then stay in the valley here because the cloud formation was so good, and then go back over the ridge to Hood River, okay? So this is also a 600 kilometer, 560 kilometer flight. Also probably 7 hours, okay? So it's wonderful. And you see, when you go initially here, so yeah, I told myself, I don't know, to 2,000 feet. This is the toe, the yellow area. I think it ends at around 2,000 feet on this line. Okay, I'm not much higher than the ridge here. And then catch a thermal, and then really take a look at the next cloud if I can risk going over the ridge. And I stay at cloud base here, which is still very low. But then as time progresses, cloud base goes up, and I stick to the clouds there, and then I take bigger risks.
Those cloud bases towards the middle and end of that flight are 10,000 feet, 12,000?
Yeah, it's higher. It's probably 14,000 or something like this. So what is the scale here? 3,000 times 3, no, it's maybe 12,000 only. I don't know, 3,500, 12,000 probably. Okay. Yeah, it's not very high on that day. But there is good cloud development, and when the clouds, the cumulus clouds are this big, they're going to last long, so you can fly until 7 or until sunset or whatever, you know. It's rather a chance for overdevelopment rather than it getting blue, okay? So that's always nice. So this is the idea, fly to the ridge, catch a thermal, go a little bit further up the valley, catch another thermal until you think you can make it into this desert area here, this terrible area here. So then you have to catch every cloud and take a thermal and get a little bit higher, okay? And the more familiar you get with the situation, the more comfortable you get. But I think it's very tough to do this in the morning without an engine in reserve. So maybe you want to do it at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but then you cannot fly 600 kilometers anymore. So, you know, but you maybe don't want to. But try it slowly and become confident in this. Going over the ridge is risky, okay? And here it says, if you can't make it and you cannot make it back, you try it there. This is a good, but when you are not very high, if you're only 7,000 or 8,000 here, you will see, you will have to walk along the valleys here, you know, these gullies or whatever they are called. And then you still have to cross the river. It's going to be tight also, you know. So overall, this is kind of a tough situation. All right, and so you get over the ridge, eventually the cloud base goes up and the day develops, it's beautiful, and then you have the whole, you know, high desert area in front of you. You reach Bend, it's all very, very beautiful. And it looks great, but already here we see tendency towards overdevelopment, okay? So you have to always keep an eye on the weather. So for some reason this is the same, or is another trace here which I show? No, yeah, so this is a different flight. There was 560, and then there was another flight here going down to the Bend area. This is Bend. This is maybe a little longer. Yeah, this is also 600 kilometers, okay? So going just down here and then 680 back up, okay? So fly home with wind, that is safe. If you have to fight yourself home against the wind, is usually a bad idea. So if there is a strong northerly wind component in the forecast, don't go this way, okay? So first of all, be sure what you do at the ridge, okay? I do not take any responsibility. Here the same thing, engine switched off at 2,000 feet, and then all low thermals sticking to cloud base, going over the ridge, and then, you know, eventually finding higher cloud bases, and then you can glide longer also, and fly faster actually. Yeah, so this is what goes. So then eventually you make it to the beautiful weather area, but what starts out nice does not always end nice, okay? So that you can already see a little bit of overdevelopment, cloud base not too high, getting darker here, maybe already rain over here, certainly rain in this area. So this is a typical summer day here out in the high desert. You know, you will always have thunderstorms on a good day in the end. You know, you can find your way here, this is still good weather, you can still march forward, you just stay away from the rain showers. But when it gets like this, you better be prepared, okay? So you better have a good team to pick you up from an airport like Madras or Bend or something like this, okay? So I have landed very, very often after the airport has already been wetted. So this is a lake view, landing in lake view, also low cloud. This is landing in Bend after a thunderstorm, and here also, actually, in the rain, I landed in the rain all the time, so it was pretty bad. But here I was based, I started out in Bend and in Lake View, so I didn't need a trailer, but you may want to be sure you get a trailer. So the situation can be beautiful. You know, these big clouds, if you have a development where the clouds slowly disappear in the afternoon, then this is very discouraging. You do not know where to fly, right? The clouds give us a lift. If you have big clouds, at least you know where to go, you know, and those clouds still have a lot of momentum. It's good, you know, you fly until sunset, until you have 600 kilometers or whatever, you know. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so that's essentially it, my take on it.
Thank you.
Thank